along with being the ultimate planter tractor, where do we see these 8R, 8RX units being used in the ag industry?
Yeah, absolutely. And the ultimate planting tractor, when we think about something like that, we're really actually even narrowing into the 8RX area where you talk about being able to carry fertilizer and one of the features we brought is front fill, something that customers have had on sprayers. We bring in that to this high horsepower 8RX so that a customer can keep unfolded and fill up liquid. So that's just another example of when we thought about that solution. But I'd say when we think about where the opportunities are, we call it the ultimate planting tractor. I also maybe call it, the Swiss Army knife. It's going to be used in a lot of different areas. So let's maybe run through a couple that come to mind. The first one being planting. So 24 row plus high speed planters. To be honest, the main one, or the one that we've been targeting here is a DB90. This tractor, especially the 8RX with liquid, but even the wheel, is capable of doing 1,200 acres a day. That's, going to bed at night. That's not even running 24 hours a day. But we have the ability with this tractor to pull up to a DB90 planter, high speed in the hills, 24 row plus, and not ever have to compromise speed because you don't have the power to get it there. We have customers today that are doing that maybe with some 9Rs and 9RXs, but the machine form, being able to turn so tight, the ride and the creature comforts that come with the 8R customers have been asking is, I love my 8R. I need the power of the 9. I want a planting tractor that I don't ever have to slow down to get over that hill or to get through a tough spot in the field. So that's obviously, one of the call it target priorities of solving customer problems is we wanted to solve the problems our row crop customers had with these bigger planters. Let's get into maybe a couple of the other ones. So when we think about big grain carts, small grains country and row crop, 2,500 bushel grain cart is no issue for these tractors. So, grain carts can get bigger and bigger every year. It's unbelievable. And customers, that have this tractor in the spring to plant want to be able to utilize it in the fall to pull grain carts. And again, it seems like these grain carts keep getting bigger, and we're probably pushing the limits on what they could pull with a maybe a 410 of today. So now being able to pull those big grain carts that may have been reserved only for some 9R tractors, you can definitely do. Potato harvesters, we talked about a little bit, electrical offboarding, some of those there. And then I'd say the transport, hauling, manure, that market is another target of this one. I talked about being able to go 60K, and I mentioned engine braking. This is an aggressive engine brake, and we've been testing with some customers that have some 14,000-gallon tankers, and the ability to slow that tractor down from transport speeds to field speeds and never touch the brake or have to, downshift. Granted, these are EVTs, so maybe it's not the traditional downshift, but not having to touch the brakes to slow this down with the engine braking. So those are just, maybe a few of the probably the most common examples that we can think of. But then again, making it a full season tractor, tillage, high speed tillage is growing, HSDs, field cultivators, and even nine shank rippers. Here at the Commodity Classic show, we're showing a wheeled 540 hooked to a nine shank 2730. And this is showing is autonomy. We're showcasing autonomy on rippers, and this tractor is autonomy ready from the factory. So being able to use this tractor to pull a 24 row planter in the spring and hook it up and do deep ripping in the fall and have one tractor do all of that is really what the target's been for this unit.